know it's a general rule of thumb. Whatever job you're doing, yeah, there's some days
I'm never gonna hate on somebody for getting money, especially for doing what they're doing. All I'm saying is, one, the Cowboys.
Dak don't play defense.
This whole thing has been a build up over 4 or 5 years. Like this whole situation, we knew it was going to come down to this. Like Jones chose to
not pay him early.
Pay Zeke first, and that kind of just set the dominoes of, okay, well, is he also going to pay these guys? Is he not? Is he going to let them hold out? Well, they didn't hold out, so now you're going to pay them since they didn't hold out. Oh, no, you're not. Are you going to re-sign them now that his contract's up? Or are you going to give him a raise on the franchise tag? So it's just been an ongoing saga, and I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad it's over for Dak. All I'm saying is we won't really know who the winner is until we see Dak play for the next 2 years.
Yeah, he won. He
won. It's still a matter of wins. I mean, you say whatever you want. Everybody always picks the Cowboys to do something every single year because of the Cowboys and who they have on the roster. But, Dak, good for him, got paid. But, I mean, somebody needs to come out of that division with a winning record at least.
And with Dak, I trust that offense against every other defense in that. Like, the reason why the Cowboys sucked is because they didn't have Dak. Let's just be honest. If Dak never gets hurt, they're probably winning 11 games. Yeah, exactly. And they're sitting with a nice first-round pick, and they might end up with Micah Parsons out of Penn State.
Do they really need another linebacker? Because they need DBs and they need some pass
Sean Lee is at the end of his career.
I don't know why you talk about Sean Lee like literally every. Is Sean Lee the only Cowboys defensive player you
replace a Penn State linebacker with a Penn State linebacker?
I just don't know why you always bring up Sean Lee. Sean Lee's a free agent, dog. He's not even on the roster.
So you got to replace him, right?
I almost said fuck Sean Lee, but like not fuck Sean Lee, but like not fuck Sean Lee either. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But pretty much, yeah, you replaced a Penn State linebacker.
Like, fuck him, but not like personally, like fuck him.
But respectfully, fuck him.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so respectfully, Micah Parsons, insanely athletic, supposed to be a great linebacker, probably not going to play middle linebacker because you have Jalen
Is he better
Smith.
than Navarro Bowman?
Yes, way better.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay.
Just not even close.
Is he better than LeVar Arrington?
That's a tough one because he's seen as a generational talent, like Parsons was.
LeVar Arrington was too, but he only lasted like 4 years.
He got hurt. And Washington was terrible. They traded Champ Bailey. You got to factor that in too. But like Parsons, if he has to play outside linebacker, that's even better. Because you got, let's say Van Der Esch slides over to the middle. He probably won't. And you have Jalen Smith. Now you can just, you got a steal at where you're at in the draft in the first round. Now you just load up on defense or best available. They're not going to get another receiver. They don't need another receiver. They don't really need a tight end. They got a running back. The offense is pretty much set unless they want to get a tackle. But even then, they're really set offensively.
They need D-line.
If they can hit on like a generational, if they can hit on a great talent with that first round pick, shout out to Kevin, by the way. If they can hit on that first round pick, it's a wrap, bro. All the Cowboys have to do is
don't have another Taco Charlton.
Taco Charlton. I don't trust Penn State. I don't trust Michigan edge rushers. Quiddy Pay. I don't know how to say his name.
Uche?
Who the fuck is that? Did you just make up a name? The
undersized dude.
You just made up a name.
No, I didn't.
Josh Oosh?
Yeah, there you go.
Last year? Nah, for the Patriots, he might still be good.
Well, you just said you don't trust Michigan edge rushers.
He's good, but he was going to be like a situational player. Like, that never changed for me. He's best as a 3-4 edge rusher. And so far, Patriots not looking too great defensively. But again, with this, he's like, now he has the no trade clause. Like for Dak, like, it's a perfect situation. So, like, even though I shit on the Cowboys and talk about them, they're in a better situation than the Raiders.
All right, so let's move on to franchise tags. This week was the deadline for the franchise tags. So far, well, not so far, but the full list of tag players includes Broncos safety Justin Simmons, Jets safety Marcus May, Washington guard Brandon Sheriff, Bucks wide receiver Chris Godwin, Jaguars offensive tackle Cam Robinson, Giants D lineman Leonard Williams, Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson, Panthers offensive tackle Taylor Moton, and Saints safety Marcus Williams.
Your boy Marcus Williams.
Shout out to Marcus Williams, Eleanor Roosevelt, great. But for those of you who don't know, basically what the franchise tag means is a player who's set to hit the open market, meaning their contract has expired. They're no longer obligated to that team unless the team uses their franchise tag, meaning that they are committing top 5 money to that player for 1 year guaranteed. So that means all those players I just named are going to be getting a 1 year deal worth whatever the top 5 amount of players at their position makes. Does that make sense?
Yep. The average.
Yeah, basically the average. And so,
which is why Dak got $31 million.
The reason why Justin Simmons is a little bit higher, and I think Brandon Shrift as well, is because if you get it a second year in a row, you automatically get that average plus another 25%.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's why it's a pretty big deal when teams use a franchise tag after 1 year to the next. Yeah, there you go. And also with that, these teams can still negotiate long-term deals that would essentially override the franchise tag. But for now, at least, they've agreed in principle to a 1 year deal. Unless, of course, a player holds out and wants to get traded, which also happens in the case of, like, Jadeveon Clowney a few years ago.
But he had a different case because he was trying to get edge rusher money instead of linebacker money, which was a huge difference in pay.
I could believe that. But yeah, man. So, what do you take of some of the franchise tag stuff that happened this past week?
Poor Allen Robinson. But then not poor Allen Robinson because he could have went to Green Bay. He actually had the offer to go to Green Bay. He chose Chicago, and now receivers realize, oh, you can't be the best receiver in the league and play in Chicago because it's a offensively stagnant place to be. They're just not going to throw the ball. You're not going to be a factor. Defenses are going to key in on you. Oh, yeah, and you play against the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings every year. All those teams throw the ball more than you. So, good luck with that. Oh, yeah, and your quarterback sucks. You think he would have learned from Jacksonville, but it's like you wanted to get a payday, bro. You kind of got a payday in Chicago because you wanted to be. You could have just went to Green Bay.
The Bears are still in the Russ and Deshaun sweepstakes. So
what? You gonna get traded to Houston?
No, I'm saying his quarterback situation could be looking up.
Well, what if they say we want Allen Robinson?
You can't.
What if they say we're willing?
Because then what's the point? If you trade Allen Robinson, then what's the point of getting a Pro Bowl quarterback? You're going to have him throw to Cordell Patterson 10 times a game?
You get that first-round pick, and then you have to take a receiver in the draft. And you have the money to go get a receiver in free agency.
Bro, trades don't work like that, sir.
Are you serious?
No, I think if anything in Chicago, what they're going to do is maybe give up a defensive first-round pick, maybe Kyle Fuller or even possibly rumored Khalil Mack.
I've been hearing Khalil Mack a lot.
If DeAndre Hopkins could get traded for a second-round pick and a bag of Skittles, don't tell me that this trade can't happen.
You're not going to trade a player for...
DeAndre Hopkins got traded for a second-round pick.
Yeah, but he got traded for a player and picks who they're trying to get rid of.
A fat contract.
You're not going to give up. You're not going to give up a player who's not under contract technically because he's under a franchise tag and picks to get a player who's better,
a franchise
and
quarterback,
picks.
and is already paid.
Trade's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen. There's too many moving parts.
Okay, DeAndre Hopkins got traded for a second-round pick.
DeAndre Hopkins was
garbage
under
trade.
contract, though.
No other team would make that trade.
I'm telling you, logistically, it's not going to happen.
No, he wanted a raise, and they wouldn't give it to him.
He already had
so
a contract, though. He wasn't a free agent. He wasn't under a franchise tag. He had already been resigned.
They own him for another year, though. Like, they own out of rights for another year. I know what you're saying, but I'm saying step outside of logic.
You can't do that.
Okay.
You can't do that. You
NFL.
have to take off the franchise tag to trade them. That's how you're able to trade them. And then
if you
can't
come up with the deal?
And then if you sign them, then there's a certain amount of window that you can trade them. And then you can't trade them with other certain players. Like, there's a bunch of fucking hoops and ladders. That's why those kind of trades never happen. That's why you usually, like, in the NFL, players rarely even get traded for each other.
I get what you're saying.
Usually they just get traded for picks because it's just easier.
But I'm saying organizations are so poorly run, and they look at draft picks as better equity than current players, that it can happen. Don't think it can't happen. Again, DeAndre Hopkins, arguably the best receiver in the league, all-pro receiver, fastest receiver to 10,000 yards, got traded for a second-round pick and David Johnson. And David Johnson
but that's the Texans.
Still doesn't matter.
Totally
they did it multiple times. They did it with
totally different situation.
They did it with Jadeveon Clowney first.
But that's a different situation.
They've made that trade multiple times. What I'm saying is, you act like the Bears are a smart organization. I'm
not even talking about the trade value, bro. I'm talking about logistically.
I get what you're saying.
I don't think you do because you keep arguing the same point, and I'm telling you your point is
I'm not arguing
mute.
that particular trade. I'm saying they could do something stupid and trade away and cut off their nose to spite their face.
Possibly for the two different quarterbacks. Because like if you're talking about Russ, which sounds like the better chance anyway, you're not going to need a Allen Robinson with DK Metcalf, and especially DK Metcalf on a rookie contract for a couple more years. So that trade doesn't make sense.
And what are you going to do with Allen Robinson in Houston?
That argument.
Exactly. And if your best player is Khalil Mack, arguably, why would you give up your entire defense? Because he's their only pass rusher. Why would you give up your whole defense to get Deshaun Watson? Then you have no defense. That's stupid. That's even stupider.
I don't know. Khalil Mack missed what, 3 games, 4 games last year?
And was still led the team in sacks, still their best player?
I'm not
their
saying
defensive
he's not.
system is
I'm just
aimed
saying.
around him and only him. If they just put another pass rusher...
Pass rush needs help, and they're going to get Goldman back, too, which he took the year off as far as COVID protocols. But with him, Keem Hicks, and Khalil Mack, I think that's a little more enticing. And then maybe get rid of Robert Quinn. But he'll probably be there next year.
Yeah, but that's
Robert Quinn played well last year.
Okay, but he's near the end of his career. Let's be honest.
I mean, we've been saying that about him for 4 years now.
Nah, he's on the downside.
Yeah, that's how you smile. That's how you smile, bro.
That's kind of true.
Saying that since he left the Rams.
No,
4 years ago.
Once he got to Dallas, I was like, it's over.
But then he had a better year.
Did he have 10 sacks?
I think he had 8.
That's not 10, right? I said 10, right?
Khalil Mack had 8 this year.
Khalil Mack's in the prime of his career.
Okay.
Getting triple teamed every play.
Let's change the subject,
no
man.
one's triple teaming Robert Quinn anymore.
This dude's on one, man.
Nobody's... When's the last time Robert Quinn got triple teamed on tape?
He's going full contrarian Kenny mode right now.
No, I'm just saying, y'all act like if you trade Khalil Mack, the Bears are still a Super Bowl contender.
This is like a fake vision of Kenny.
It's the Hex version?
Yeah.
This is
Hex Kenny?
This is rehearsed Kenny because he was waiting to say this to me the whole day. I know he was. He's like, I'm going to trash.
I'm just waiting to pull the thorn.
That whole model... That was a monologue. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That was a prepared statement? All I'm saying is you can't justify trading Khalil Mack and having no defense left.
All I'm saying is you can't justify trading Allen Robinson when you just gave him a guaranteed contract worth like $16 million.
Because you were too cheap to pay him. Because you realize your running backs aren't good enough to lean on and your quarterback is trash. So
Montgomery had
why do we always put it on the team. It's not always the team. The
Who
Bears
picked
aren't
the-
cheap. The Bears aren't cheap. They're not a cheap team. They extend their players. They pay their players when they want to.
They pay free agents. They pay Julius